let's talk about this whole CM Punk situation. So this last Sunday, All In happened, and let me tell you something. I wasn't even going to talk about the situation with him and Jack Perry because I was over it. I'm done with it. However, I will talk about the situation of him being fired. So I had to bring this situation up. So apparently, him, Punk, and Jack Perry got in an altercation last week in Wimbledon, in London, and at All In, and apparently you can see Jack Perry said, "Hey, it's glass, cry me a river." Punk got pissed off with it. Apparently, rumors came. Well, there's stuff coming out now that Punk got in a choked out Perry. Also, stuff came out that Punk actually would kind of went to Tony Khan and told him straight up, "I want to quit. This place is miserable." There's other stuff coming out news too. Talk about there was supposed to be a meeting between the Elite and Punk, but it got canceled. The Elite backed out and pissed off Punk. There's a lot coming out now. Honestly, I'll be real with you. This whole situation should have been handled by Tony Khan. Tony Khan has nothing but himself to blame with this. I blame all of this on Tony Khan. This should have been handled last year. Heyman should have got reprimanded last fucking year. He should have not even came back to the show till after All Out. That's my opinion on it. Heyman should have never said what he said. That started this whole effect. Punk should have said, "Hey, look, I don't appreciate what he did." Because there was nothing coming out at that time where Punk went and choked anybody out. Punk probably went to Tony Khan and said, "Yo, you need to handle this." Tony Khan did not handle it like Vince McMahon would have handled it. Vince McMahon would have told him, "Look, we ain't doing this here. Don't shoot, don't do that, don't do that." And he has the right to do that. But that's the thing, though. Heyman could get away with it because he was friends with the Elite. And that's kind of how things were protected. Tony should have stepped in and said, "No, we're not doing that. Don't bring dirt behind the scenes. It's not Punk. It was me." That's what he should have told Heyman. "Now I need you to go apologize to Punk." And that's all should have been handled. But again, this is all Tony Khan's fault. Everything is Tony Khan's fault. And it is. Punk got some blame here too, because he should have never did what he did Sunday. He should have never did what he did at All Out. All Out last year, the Brawl Out. But all this is all a Tony Khan effect. He needs to be a strong leader and tell these people this is not what we're going to do. Punk would never been fired. He coming out on Collision, "I had to protect myself" and everything like that. No, you took the deal because everybody else told you need to handle this or we're quitting. The Elite probably went up there and said, "We'll quit." That's all what happened. The Elite, everybody else came in there, they said, "We'll quit." He had no option because of what Punk did. But it's too late. You let this manifest to this point, my man. And everybody said he did a good job. Fuck him. Now I got nothing for Tony Khan because Tony Khan could have ended this shit last year. Tony Khan could have squashed this shit before. And here's the thing about Tony Khan: if he was a true leader, like a true Vince McMahon, he would have said, bring your straight punk ass in here. Bring your three idiot ass in here. Let's have a meeting and have a talk. Jericho's there as a mediator. Brian's there as a mediator, to make sure shit doesn't hit off the fan. So you can have enough people in the room that if it hit off the fan, it hit off the fan. So you guys will work together. You guys will sign a contract. If you breach this contract, you will pay the company a fine of $1 million and you guys will be terminated. That is it. That's it. We're done. Is that clear? FTR's in there too because they will work with the Bucks. Punk will be in there too, so he's going to work with Kenny Omega. And that's what you need to do. All this could have been fucking avoided. And then Elite counseling, I would have told, I would have went to Tony Khan and said, "No, we're not counseling no more. Bring your asses in here. You will hear what he has to say. From there on, we will make a meeting. People will get fined. I'm done with this. I want to make money because they are still in a pay-per-view model, so they have to make money. It would have been nice for All In to have CM Punk versus Kenny Omega and FTR versus Young Bucks. You know how much money they could have made? Twice as much money? But they need to think about that because it has a business aspect. You need to make money. Don't get me wrong, what Punk did was wrong. But however, a lot of this would have led to Punk if Tony Khan would have been a good enough leader. Vince would not let this go down. Triple H would have not let this go down. Because he sees dollar signs. He sees money. He sees where we can make buzz. Tony Khan doesn't see that. He wants to book for himself. You keep on booking for yourself. You're going to be nothing like a WCW. Booking yourself out of a fucking business. A fucking mark that MJF called him, and that's what he is. I have no respect for Tony Khan. This firing is a good thing and a bad thing. It's a bad thing because Tony Khan allowed it to get to this point, and it's a good thing because now there should be no more issues in that locker room. But let me tell you something. If there's another goddamn issue in that locker room, I'm gonna call on the media and say, no, Tony Khan needs to be fired because he is a fucking idiot and he cannot do his jobs to his due diligence. I don't care no more. This firing is not good for the company. This firing is not good at all. It really is not good. It will bring the morale up, but at the end of the day, the problem is always will be the problem. The elite in those executive roles are not good for the business. They should not even be in that business. But am I on the fence of Punk's side? No, because Punk did some stupid shit too. But I'm on the fence of this is not a good idea. Okay. Now I also heard in the termination papers that Punk contracts were dismissed. So Punk's has multiple other contracts. Now if Punk had a wrestling contract and an contract, excuse me, then that's Tony Khan's fault. Why are you giving this man an executive role when you already got execs in that role too? That's going to cause conflict, bruh. That's why you can never have wrestlers in executive roles, because when you start getting wrestlers in those roles, guess what's going to happen? Power going to go to their head. Like Kenny Omega shouldn't be doing nothing but wrestling, because he can't book to save his fucking life. I love Kenny Omega, but he can't book. The Young Bucks, when it comes to tag team wrestling, they actually did book pretty well. But I would have them book. I would have them as a mediator, call it a fucking day. Like, no, we're not putting you in these roles, but we'll help you and do this and do that. But see, Tony Khan is just want to be friends with everybody, because that's why it's called All Friends Wrestling. Not All Elite Wrestling, All Friends Wrestling. Because everybody's trying to be friends and buddy, and then they got to kiss the ass of. No, that's not what you want to do, because it's nothing but WCW. The Elite are nothing but a wannabe NWO. And that's what and all Elite Wrestling is nothing but WCW. Tony Khan's nothing but an Eric Bischoff. And then the Elite are nothing but NWO. At this point, Tony Khan needs to turn heel, work with these guys, and make money. Because that's what it really is. Call it out. You're friends with them, call it out. But honestly, guys, this whole situation is it's bad on both parties. It really is. Punk is money. He draws a lot of money. Punk is a guy that will always keep the wrestling bubble talking. Do I see him going to WWE? Yes. I see a Hall of Fame first, and then eventually he'll wrestle. But in the next 2 or 3 years, this man will be going to WWE. He will be going to WWE. There's no point, because he'll make amends with Vince. He'll make amends with Triple H. They'll put him in the Hall of Fame. He'll do some favors. He'll make some money. Why? He still has a wrestling career there. Now, I see him putting over Roman Reigns. I see him putting over Seth Rollins. I see him putting over AJ Styles. I see him putting over people, and he will put over people. He would do his job. But you know why he would do it? It's because Vince has told him to do it. Triple H told him to do it, because they don't play that shit when they did it in AEW. Vince ain't gonna take no sides. Now there are some young guns that would disrespect him, but see, here's the thing though: there's no wrestler in the WWE that has an executive role other than maybe it used to be Triple H, but that's it. So yeah, Triple H would definitely call Punk and say, yeah, let's do business. Let's say, yeah, put me in the Hall of Fame next year, and I'll come back and I want to wrestle. Similar to how they did with other people. Why not? Why not? Because if you notice, when Punk came back from his injury, he was wrestling pretty well. Not the greatest, but he was wrestling pretty well. Like, he was wrestling like, okay. Like, he really got some rust off. I'm like, all right. Like I said, here's my thing, ladies and gentlemen. At the end of the day, it's all about what's best for business. That's a slogan they used back in the early, mid-late 2000, 2014, but it's really what's best for business. And Tony Khan doesn't have that mindset. And when he learns it, he going to look back at this and say, you know what? I should have put all these egos aside and put them in a room together and tell them this meeting is mandatory. You do not come here, I will find you. And be serious about that. What you think? And be serious about that. But he has not, still don't have the balls. Yes, he had the balls to fire CM Punk because he had no choice, because I believe people were about to walk out. That's what I believe. But it is what it is. Here's my thoughts on CM Punk being fired. It's a good thing and a bad thing, because right now we're going to start seeing a divide in the fans. We're going to start seeing, not a divide in the fans, but we're going to see a divide in the fans, but we're also going to see a divide in the locker room. And we're going to see the mess, because there was already turmoil when Punk wasn't there. Now, once Punk leave, and let me say this again, once Punk leave, there's still turmoil. Yeah, he got nothing but himself to blame. I'm out of here.